All right, traders, thank you for joining me in the Trading Buddy Futures and Forex forecast for the week of April the 8th. It's good to be with you. Uh, Sorry for the last couple of weeks. Missed it due to health, and I appreciate your patience as we go forward looking for trades and looking at these markets. So let's take a look at what markets I'm going to be looking at next week and what trades. Uh, it's gonna be there's been plenty of action going on the last couple of weeks, and so there should be plenty of action next week as well. So let's take a look. We'll start off with the all important ES. I don't have my trade station uh, up my subscription. There's something wrong with my subscription, so none of the data is coming through. So here I am on the Thinkorswim. You can see that we've had a little bit of volatility this week. We're waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting for a pullback. We've gotten a couple days pullback, couple days pullback, couple days pullback, couple days pullback. We finally got more than a couple days pullback, but you can still see that it's coming back up. So what are we going to do for next week? Thursday's high and Thursday's low is pretty much going to be the pivots that I'm looking at. Because if it comes to Thursday's high, then we'll probably continue higher. If it breaks Thursday's low, then we'll probably continue lower. But anything in the middle of that would be considered an inside bar of that range on Thursday. So it's really going to be important to see how the markets react to those levels. And so that's what I'll be looking for on Monday, Tuesday, seeing if the market can rebound up to that pivot, which is very easily could. That amount of range is easily obtainable in the ES or coming back down to the low. So we'll see how the markets react for this next week. The precious metals market. Remember when we were down in here all year, all beginning year, we were looking for buy signals and waiting for the silver market and the gold market to rally. Well, we surely got that rally, didn't we? If you zoom out a little bit, this was the consolidation area we were looking for, and I was looking for it to come back up to this level, come back down a bit, and then possibly see some more bullishness into the mid-year, like what we're seeing. Well, this happened a lot sooner. This move right here happened a whole lot sooner than I expected. But you can see that we did get that move. We got a break up to these highs, a pullback, and we got a perfect buy set up, for this move right here. We just missed it. This was not a market that I was in. I did capture a little bit of movement as it broke above, some momentum play, but nothing huge. But you can see how strong the precious metals have been, making all-time highs. So what do we do now? Uh, I'm looking for a bigger pullback than we got on Friday. You can see Friday was kind of pulled back in here. I was looking more like a pullback back into these ranges, similar to what we saw right here. Yeah, but now is not the time to buy, even though how strong it is, and we're probably going to see more highs. We're probably just going to have to wait for it to slow down a bit, consolidate, and then set up another buy signal for another range here. So this is the first time that silver has made this type of uh, huge move, and we're looking at maybe the state of affairs in the world, and finally we're getting buyers in the silver market. So if you're holding silver, which we are, this is just good news. Just hold your precious metals because they're bullish. But for trading, let's wait for a pullback and just stay on the sidelines. You don't want to buy at the top in case it is the top. It starts to pull back down. You get stuck in a trade. But it's just better to be on the sidelines. And trading sometimes involves waiting. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to wait on silver. Gold is in the same situation. If you look at where we've been at here at the beginning of the year, we consolidated right here. We were expecting it to come back up to this 2200 level, and this is what it did. It consolidated right here, and then it broke out to the top side. So in the last month and a half, we've gone from 2000 to 2350. That is quite a move. And so we did capture a little bit of it right into here, and then we were out. My illness has caused me not to trade as much, and I haven't been watching all the markets that I really like to watch, and we missed this move as well, which is unfortunate. But that's part of trading as well, as missing moves and being okay with it. And so with what do we do now? Again, with silver, I'm going to wait for a pullback. I don't want to be waiting. I don't want to be buying at the top in case it is the top. I mean, this could keep on going, but we want to see a somewhat of a pullback, of a rest something like this, where you get an expansion and consolidation, expansion. So we're looking for either consolidation like that. It's kind of messy there. A consolidation like this, where it kind of pauses, or if it comes down, maybe test the low right here, expands, and then wait for the next leg. So that could be a couple weeks. We could be on the sidelines a little bit, but again, being on the sidelines is not so bad. The seasonality that we've been waiting for in crude oil has also come to pass. You can see that this was an area that we were waiting in a long time. This move was a little bit of a surprise back in early February because we were expecting bullishness in the energies. And you can see that we got that break, came down a little bit, and then the last week it has made a nice move through the 80s. I think it's probably going to get a little bit higher, make that pullback down into this range, and then create another buy signal to go higher. So that's what I'm going to be looking for. But again, this time of year, we were expecting bullishness, and that's exactly what we got. So that was a really good trade in some of the small trades that I did in crude oil. Looking in the grain markets, we have been bullish in the grain markets even since the beginning of the year. We got stopped out a couple times, but it's starting to make some important key levels. So it found a base right here, and it's creating intermediate term high or low. And that's looking good if it can break this trend line, get back up to here and make a break. And that's looking really good for our bullish posture in the grains. So soybean meal, corn, and let's take a look at wheat as well. You can see that wheat has formed a base in here as well, a double bottom, kind of chopped around here a bit, and it is forming this trend line right in here. And so it is really close to making a break back up to the 600 level, which is what we're expecting. There's been a lot of commercial buying of these grain markets. And so I fully expect within the next few months, maybe even into the summer, it may not happen really quick and volatile fast like it has last year or the year before that, but I am expecting this to grind its way up into these higher levels of the 600s for wheat and for soybeans and soybean meal. So I'm still long. Look for long situations. Look for buy signals in the grain markets. The bond market has struggled a little bit. If you zoom out a little bit, we have this big long run, and then we expected this to come up and come down and hold right here. It's struggled a little bit, but it's been around this 120, 119 range. I think it's time that the dollar starts to weaken a little bit. It's been a lot stronger than I expected because of the rate hikes being diminished. And so the dollar has had a little bit more strength at the beginning of this year than I expected. And you can see that it did break this low here. So I, I, I can kind of see with the bond market it coming down here. I'm on the sidelines, and for good reason. I don't really have a beat on this, but we are coming up to a seasonality where the bonds do really well. And so I'm going to be looking for a pullback into the 115, maybe a consolidation, a base, and then a break of a trend line and a move to the upside. So I'm going to be looking for that in the next couple weeks in the bond market. Okay, let's take a look at our forex pairs that we like to look at. We'll look at the dollar yen first. Here we go. Let's zoom in. The dollar yen has been up in this area of 152. 152, it just seems to hit this ceiling, and that is not surprising as the Bank of Japan and the Japan officials are saying that 152 is their ceiling, and they call it a cement ceiling. Now, that doesn't mean if it gets up to 152, it's not going to go higher because I think there may be institutions or governments that were going to try to call their bluff. But the Japanese officials are saying if it gets above 152, that they're going to have a much more likely uh, action intervention to bring more strength to the Japanese yen. They're not wanting it to get any weaker as much as it is. 152 is pretty high already. So it's been pretty weak. You can see right here, right now, as far as action goes, it's been in this consolidation. I was expecting it to move down a little bit. You can see that Friday's candle, it came down and it came right back up. So it kind of faked us out a little bit. But that is something that we're possibly looking for. I think it actually might sneak above 152 first, and then who knows, maybe we won't get that intervention and then just get a lot of selling really quick. but you can see ADX stochastic setup is set up for a downward movement. So over the next few weeks, I am looking for again a possibility of it going up, but I do see this market coming back down into the 140s, possibly even back down to these levels here. So in the meantime, just stay on the sidelines, just and be careful as we trade this level. Let's take a look at the pound dollar. The pound has had a couple of attempts this year to try to break through this consolidation area. So we had a couple of stints below it in January. We had an attempt to go higher in February, and then we had just that bounce right off of this area, and then it's just staying in this price zone, 126 to 127, almost 128. And so what could it do now? I think it could continue to move up into this 128 area first. But with the strength of the dollar again, as the dollar's been more strong than I expected, we might see it move down first, and then when we start to see some dollar weakness seasonality, that we see the pound move back up. So I'm going to be playing either side here. It's just a matter of waiting for the market to tell us which side it wants to go on. But I can easily see if on Monday we get back to Wednesday's high, that would be a buy signal. And then obviously if we come back down into these levels Monday, Tuesday, I'm going to be a buyer as well. So uh, I probably won't be a seller, a big time seller, unless it breaks this level and then comes up and tests and then has a fail. So that could take a week or so. So I'm kind of staying on the sidelines on the sell side, unless there's a big extended move to the upside. You kind of fade a little bit for a day trade, but other than that, I'm looking to be a buyer. Same thing with the euro. The euro's been weaker than the pound. So you can see if it gets up to Thursday's high, it's going to be breaking this trend line. I'm going to be a buyer on the euro, but for the same reasons, I think I can see it come back down and retest this level once again, and then give us another possibly just another bounce and create this consolidation range until we start to really see some changes. But the euro has been weaker, so I'd be more willing to put in sells if it breaks Friday's low and then trade down to these levels to the 106, maybe even down into the 105s again. But it hasn't been as volatile as the pound. It's a little bit safer to trade if you're into that. So that's my plan on the euro. Okay, last but not least is the euro yen. Again, the Japanese yen could have some intervention in here, and it's holding a little bit similar to the dollar yen, but the dollar yen has just been kind of in this consolidation holding pattern where we get a little bit more volatility in the euro yen. So I could see this market trying to get to the higher points here, break these highs. But if it continues to go down, it has created a lower high here and a lower low and a lower high. And so I could see this start to work its way back down to these levels. That could easily be the case. But if it gets to on Monday, if it gets above Thursday's high, then that's a buy signal. All right, well, that's going to be it for me this week. Really appreciate you joining me. If there's any markets you want me to look at, be sure to email me at kevin@tradingbuddysystem.com. Please like and subscribe and share. And if there's anything you need, don't hesitate to reach out to me. And wish you the best with your trading. Good luck and good trading.